1017 FM 710 Keel, Mike and McCarty welcoming Mr. President. Good morning, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Sounds kind of good.
I made history, right? I made history. Mike.
I know. I was at the luncheon yesterday. That was the most incredible story I think I've ever heard. You've got to share that story.
You were president for a minute?
How you were president of the United States.
Yeah, it wasn't a full minute, Aaron. I regret to inform you. It was about 37 seconds, but it's true story. True story. On Inauguration Day, at noon, under our constitutional system, the president ceases to be the president. So Joe Biden was no longer the president at noon on Inauguration Day. We were running a little bit behind on the schedule, and J.D. Vance did not take his oath of office. He was about 37 seconds late. So I just want y'all to know that for that brief moment in time, I was the acting president of the United States. The Speaker of the House is second in line, and it fell to me. So I'm just sorry that I didn't have executive orders ready to fly, because I would have been throwing them on the stage. I would have done great things for Louisiana in that 37 seconds, had I known. Yeah.
Well, what a surprise. Did anybody, obviously Mayor Chandler knew, but the room didn't know that to expect you at the mayor's prayer luncheon yesterday, did they? Or was I just a complete idiot?
Well, no, it was a very last-minute addition to the schedule. I just, happened to be in the area, and I thought I needed to drop by and say hello to everybody. It was a great event. Hats off to Tommy Chandler. He's got another term as mayor, ran unopposed, and he started that prayer group, and what a great thing. Mike, it was great to see you there. And the beard is epic, my friend, and you're ready for the stage.
I am getting ready. Normally, it's not this long. My hair is normally not this bushy, but I am getting ready for Fiddler on the Roof, so that's why
it's going to be awesome.
Thank you.
Doge is finding billions in wasted government spending.
Incredible.
Elon Musk even said, I believe yesterday, that we're finding so much money that we might be able to give every American a $5,000 check. Boy, everybody will like Trump then.
Yeah. Well, and that's the discussion we're having. Would we do that, or should we pay down the $36 trillion in federal debt that is the money that really belongs to our children and grandchildren? We've got to cut the wasteful spending. And I'm so excited about what Elon and the team are doing. I was with him Monday before last, in his office for an hour, and I just sat down with him and we went through everything he's doing, because it sounds just like it's fantasy, but it's real. It's real. There's so much fraud, waste, and abuse. And the thing that I'm so excited about is, as we went through it together, we both got increasingly excited about this. And I said, Elon, you're thinking about this as a data analyst and a scientist. I'm thinking about it as a constitutional law attorney and a historian. Elon, what we're going to be able to do here is restore the original intent of the framers of our Constitution, because what they envisioned, you guys, was a small federal government. Most of the power is supposed to be pushed down to the states, right? And the federal government was supposed to be lean and efficient and effective, and it was supposed to have direct, careful oversight by the duly elected representatives of the people in Congress. Here's the problem. For decades, we haven't been able to do that because the bureaucracy, the deep state, got so big and insulated that they were hiding the data from us. They were hiding the evidence. We all know there's waste, but we couldn't find it. So Elon has cracked the code, y'all. He's on the inside the belly of the beast, crawling through the data with his algorithms, finding all this stuff, and it is incredible. It's going to change the way government works at the end of all this.
And we know the left is absolutely losing their minds. And what I've been saying, especially since I've been here, is follow the money. If you want to know the real story, follow the money. Why are they so upset? Because a lot of things are going to be exposed.
Yep.
That the left particularly, and I'm sure there are others, but don't want exposed, where money has truly been going.
You watch who opposes this, and that will tell you everything you need to know. I mean, who could be opposed to bringing common sense and transparency and sunlight to the federal government and to the bloated federal bureaucracy? I mean, this is heroic work, and it's overwhelmingly popular by the people, of course. Everybody knows what you and I know and have always said. It is just absolutely alarming to us that the Democrats are opposing this effort. And they don't have an explanation, any logical explanation for why they would oppose it. And it just tells you everything you need to know.
Speaker, how do we keep this once Elon and Doge goes through and hopefully we get this back under control? How do we keep it transparent and keep us from getting back into this same situation another 10, 15 years down the road or 20 years down the road?
Well, we keep applying the common sense and transparency and sunlight, and the way we do that and make it permanent is by codifying this, by putting it into statutory law. And that's where my part comes in. Our job is to make sure that we ensure that this is the new system going forward and that all of this light that's been shined upon it continues. And we're excited about that. I mean, this is the moment we've all been waiting for. I've been in Congress for 80 years. It's so frustrated by this because we could not figure out how to break that bureaucracy. When President Trump ran for president the first time, when he started back in 2015, 2016, when he said drain the swamp, this is a big part of that. I mean, this is what we were talking about, the fraud, waste, and abuse, and now we're here.
Let me ask you a question, Speaker Johnson. There's, in a couple of cases, it seems to be a ready, fire, aim in regard to laying off of federal workers. And I'm talking about the Energy Department workers who we let go, and now we realize, we really need them. We need to call them back, and we can't find them. Are we putting the cart before the horse in some of these cases, and we need to pump the brakes a minute?
Well, he caught a lot of grief, the president did, for putting a hold, that temporary pause on, all, payments going out, even the grant programs and all the rest. But that was necessary to evaluate it as quickly as possible and make sure that we're going to continue to provide critically important services and programs. But we also have to ensure that we're cutting out all the fraud, waste, and abuse. The only way to do that is to kind of bring everything to a screeching halt, evaluate it, and then bring forward the necessary programs. So USAID, for example, I mean, such egregious waste, fraud, and abuse there. Everybody knows it now. It's infamous. But there are a few programs in there that are critically important for countering China around the world and, doing some very noble things that only America can do. So Secretary of State Rubio, as one example, is going through literally the entire USAID budget line by line with a highlighter. And he's highlighting the essential programs that we need for our own, America's interest. So those will continue. He's giving waivers so those programs are turned back on. So you'll see that in each of the departments, energy and everywhere else. But meanwhile, remember, President Trump ran on restoring America's energy dominance, and he is well on his way to delivering on that promise. And the previous administration, Biden administration, waged a war on American-made energy, particularly our oil and gas producers. So President Trump is doing exactly the opposite, and it's going to be a very exciting thing for the country and for a state like Louisiana.
Another thing that the left is going mad about is the fact that Elon is now going into the Social Security system, and they're claiming, well, he's violating citizens' privacy rights, but he needs that information on people receiving benefits because apparently we have over 3 million people over 130 years old that are still on the Social Security lists.
It's stunning. It really is. Roughly $50 billion is going out. That's about $1 billion a week just in Social Security to fraudulent or wasteful payments. All these people above the age of 150 and just madness. One of the things he showed me in his office is he said, you won't believe this, but there's no prohibition in the system. There's nothing to catch one single Social Security number being given to multiple persons. And he said there may be one number going every time there's the check distribution. It goes to 100 different addresses, 100 different people collecting under the same number. And he said they've just never had to put in the efficiencies and the double checking to make sure that doesn't happen. So incredible amounts of fraud. There is no violation of anybody's privacy. Elon Musk has the highest classification that a civilian can have because he does SpaceX and all these other things, rockets and everything else. And remember, as he reminded everybody 1,000 times over the last week, he was one of the creators of PayPal. I mean, he has had your data for a long time. If he wanted to abuse it, he would have done it a long time ago, right? But what he's doing is heroic and benevolent and totally selfless. He's the wealthiest guy in the world. He doesn't need to do this. He's taking a hiatus from all of his other important projects because he wants to help us save the country. And it's an incredible thing to be a part of.
Aren't you a little bit nervous to turn over Social Security records and all of the data to somebody like, what if he does have ulterior motives? What if there is some nefariousness to him?
I don't think he does, and I'll say this, Aaron. I'd much rather Elon Musk, an altruist, a philanthropist in this regard, have access to that than some of these bureaucrats who have been sending checks to their friends, apparently, right? I mean, there's a lot of abuse in the system. It's not going to come from Elon Musk. And as he said in his interview with Sean Hannity last night with the president, he's getting a daily proctology exam. I mean,
yes, I laughed out loud.
He is so closely monitored in everything he does. There's no way he could ever do that or abuse it. I've spent enough time with him to know I've got to know Elon well, and I really appreciate this relationship, and I appreciate him, and the fact that I know what he's doing is he has the most genuine intent. And he is trying to do this for his kids and our grandkids to save the republic. And it's going to be a big reason that we are able to save the republic.
One more thing before we let you go. Thank you for so much time with us this morning. There are those who will say, government's been wasting money for decades. Where have our watchdogs, our congressmen, our senators, where have you guys been? Do you not have access to these budgets? Do you not have a way to dig like Elon Musk is doing? Or is all this stuff hidden? And what's he doing differently that you could have been doing? And I know that's harsh, but people are asking that.
That's true. No, I did an interview on Mark Levin Sunday night and explained this, and there's clips of that on my social media. But look, congressional oversight has been hindered for decades. 50, 60 years, because the deep state and the bureaucracy have refused to turn over the data to Congress. DOGE is changing that. How? Because they have been given access by remember, these are executive branch agencies. They're not legislative branch, right? So we're Article 1 of the Constitution. This is all under the column of Article 2. And even though we fund the agencies, once the money is sent, the executive branch, the president, is the one that controls it, he and his people. So because President Trump is dedicated to this, he's put Elon Musk in that column going through all these accounts with his algorithms. We didn't have the technology before. We didn't have the personnel. We didn't have someone like Elon that's smart enough to go in and crack that code. And it has been so frustrating to us because, Aaron, it doesn't matter how many times you bring these officials in for hearings in Congress or subpoena the records, they don't give you this data for obvious reasons. And we're never able to discern and find what they're hiding. Now we know because Elon is inside with the algorithms, and as he told me in his office, the data doesn't lie, right? And these algorithms he's designed are crawling through all the data, all these accounts, and they're finding it, and it's irrefutable. And that's what's so exciting about this.
Well, I could go a whole hour with you. I appreciate you so much. I know I kind of ambushed you yesterday, and thank you for being gracious to come on and talk with us this morning. We deeply appreciate you and your ministry.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah, it's mutual. Good to talk to you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson.